Hi guys, I'm Adam McKola. This is Full Time Devils, and this is the Southampton against Manchester United preview. As you can see today, we're not in the studio. We're not. We're in front of my background. Wow, my wallpapered newspapers and all that jazz. And I'm joined today by Ben, as you see, usual face on the previews on Full Time Devils. And today we've got Freddie from the Ugly Inside, which is a Southampton fanzine and fan channel. You may have seen Freddie on fan cams whenever we've played Southampton. So Freddie joins us today as well. Thank you for joining us, guys. How are you doing?
All good, mate. All good. Although I'm a bit disappointed. I only agreed to do these if Howson's hosting. So
okay, well,
yeah. What are you doing here?
You're gonna just have to deal with it, aren't you?
Not sure I like that.
Unless you want to go, I'm happy to sit here with Freddie.
Cheers, mate.
You can't do that. You can't do that, Ben, because we haven't got enough people today, so you have to stay. Sorry.
Cheers, mate.
Freddie, how are you doing, mate?
I'm all good, mate. Really looking forward to the weekend. Should be a really good game. Exciting.
Okay. Bit of confidence on both sides today. The first topic is, and we'll get Freddie involved with these topics as well. The first one, he surely can get involved as an England fan as well as a Southampton fan. It's about that boy, Marcus Rashford. This week, he was nominated for the Golden Boy Award alongside the likes of Mbappe. He got nominated last season as well, didn't win it. Could he win it this season? Regardless of whether he wins it, though, he has been absolutely fantastic for United this season, has 5 goals and was on fire yesterday as well. Just how good is Marcus Rashford, Ben?
Amazing. Bloody flipping good. Incredible. I could list more words. I remember when we'd done a huge debate talking about United youngsters and Howson got it totally wrong with his decision and didn't go with me. I went with Joshi and Fosu Mensah. He's just an incredible talent. And he came second last year, didn't he, in the Golden Boy Award, I think. I think it was Renato Sanchez who beat him to it last year. So there's no reason why, with the progression he's made over the past 12 months, he shouldn't now take that. For someone in his age group and how well he plays and has played, you say the only players you think might be in and around that, Asensio's mainly been this season, hasn't he? And Mbappe maybe played in the bigger games a bit better than him and played some incredible football in France and in the Champions League last year. So maybe that'll pip him to the Golden Boy Award. But Marcus Rashford is just brilliant. He showed everything and more against Burnley in terms of, I've always questioned his decision making, but I know he's still at a young age, so I shouldn't really be questioning that right now. He's got plenty of time to improve on that, and he's definitely got the philosophy to do it, and he's definitely got the intelligence to get better and better and to push himself in training more and more to get better. Because that's how he works. He's an ambitious boy. And he also made a remark the other week in an interview, which I loved. Someone mentioned something to him and he sort of just hinted along his lines, well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here now for the rest of my career, which you want from a young lad like Marcus Rashford and a young lad who is in love with the club as much as the rest of them. So, and us fans too. So he's a brilliant footballer. I want to see him up front more. I've said that, but obviously with Big Rom in the side, there's no one pushing him out at the moment. So it's just good to see him get a couple of goals last night and to really push his confidence up a little bit more so that these decisions that he's making to shoot could turn more into goals. And the second one was an unbelievable strike. That was hit with such finesse. Oh, it was beautiful. Hit with such finesse right in the corner. It was a quality goal. So I'm more excited, even more so now. Hopefully those couple of goals will give him the confidence and yeah, bring on the next game. He needs to just keep playing and keep playing and keep playing and learning from his mistakes.
Freddie, Rashford's obviously rated amongst Manchester United fans, highly rated. But when people talk about young players and we see these huge prices for the likes of Dembele, Mbappe, Marcus Rashford is rarely spoken about amongst those kind of players by neutral fans. What do you think about Marcus Rashford in terms of the potential and his current ability?
Well, the thing is, the trouble that you have with Rashford, he's now England's next big hope. He's got big expectations on his shoulder, and hopefully he doesn't go down the same avenue as Wayne Rooney. Big expectations, messed it up in the big tournaments. But I think United need to be really careful. We know what happened with next big things for England. But the thing is, with Rashford, you can put him in the same bracket as Mbappe. I think he's got supreme talent, supreme ability to go on to be one of the best in the world. I think he's really quick, he's skillful, good with both feet. He's fearless against defenders and could take a shot like you seen from last night anywhere from the pitch. And you know what? I think it's really refreshing to see players like that, talent like that, to come through and burst into the scene. but he's definitely going to be a contender for young player of the season if he continues to be scoring lots of goals this term.
In terms of following Wayne Rooney's footsteps, I don't mind if he wins all the trophies at United and breaks the goal scoring record. If he has a few bad tournaments with England, I've got to say. Ben, what do you think his target should be this season in terms of goals and things like that?
Well, I don't know the statistics. He's played over 40 games now for United, hasn't he? And how old is he still? He's still only 19,
he played
hasn't
over 40 last season, I think.
Yeah.
So
he's played
an awful lot of games.
For a young lad, you're usually edging that out over maybe 2-3 seasons, aren't you? The way he's coming in is playing his football. It's quite incredible. And I was looking at Rooney's goal tally the other day and the record, and he'd have to average something like 20 goals a season if he's going to continue playing at the highest level till 32. So it's like, really, Marcus Rashford should be looking at, I might be being kind to him saying 15 to 20 goals, but if he's playing as a winger, 15 to 20 goals really should be the target for him. If he's playing as a front three, a lot more attacking than just a left midfielder, then he should be looking at 20 to 25. I think overall, if he gets anywhere near and around 20, then he's doing all right. But then we need the player who's playing on the right-hand side to pip in with 20. We need Romelu Lukaku to pip in with 30, 40 goals this season as well if we're going to challenge on all fronts. So I'll be saying goal-wise, he's looking at 20, and he needs to keep putting the ball in the box as well. He's got a wicked right foot on him. He really has. He can. That's why he takes quite a lot of corners and he takes the free kicks when he gets a chance as well. He definitely has the ability to whip some balls in the box and get some assists as well and find Lukaku. He's up for a header, is Rom. So he's got to look at that as well. So what if he's getting 10 to 15 assists and 15 to 20 goals? He's had a brilliant season, hasn't he? I think anyway.
I agree as well with those kind of targets. I think it'd be more than he had last season too. Last season he got 11 goals. So I think a natural progression would be, okay, look now for 15 to 20. He's already got 5. So there's no reason why he can't score another 10 goals this season. Definitely looking forward to seeing more from Marcus Rashford. And I think there were signs he could start on the weekend with him coming off earlier than Anthony Martial. Moving on from that and to a key word, momentum. United are flying at the moment. We are absolutely flying. When you look at our home record alone, we've scored 17 goals, conceded 1 in 5 games. Absolute madness. Our away record hasn't been bad either, beating Swansea 4-0 away from home, although we did drop points against Stoke. So going to Southampton, how important is the momentum? And when can we really get excited about this run? Because obviously it's still the start of the season. I hardly ever look at the table until I'm about 10 games in. So is that the point when we can get excited, or are you already excited at this run that we're going in?
Yeah, 10 games it should be, shouldn't it? 10 games, then you can start to analyse that league a little bit more. I think at this point of the season, you look at your own performances, and as long as you're winning, you're sort of like, yeah, okay, this is cool. And you sort of look at how you're performing and you get excited with the way your side's playing to the point that you want to watch them next week, not to the point where you're like, oh, we're definitely going to win a league now. But me, myself, I'm also looking at City and thinking, bloody hell, they're playing well and all. Oh, these are going to be our rivals. I'm judging up the rivals who are going to be rivaling us more than I am thinking, boy, we're going to be there. You're looking at the race as a whole. We were talking about this, weren't we, Adam, in terms of that. It'd be great to have a proper title race this year, like just to have 2 teams who hate each other going at it. The managers having a bit of throw back and forth to each other. Both teams playing really well, amazing football, and you can't tear them apart in the head-to-heads. It would be amazing to have that all season. But then again, I would absolutely hate to go down to the last game against City. I would. So
again.
Again. So it's could you imagine on alphabetical order this season as well? So it's one of those. It's amazing in terms of that Manchester's taken the control of the football back. It's been, London last year sort of edged that, didn't they? And the last couple of years, the London clubs have been looking slightly here and thereabouts. But it's been great to finally see United looking like a league-winning side, looking like a side that could win this league. And as you said, with momentum, hopefully we can keep playing. We've got the crap international breaks coming up right in the middle of fixtures where we don't want them. Like we've got one before the Liverpool game, which is annoying, but we've got to take every game as it comes. And the next one against Southampton is going to be just as difficult as the last. But I'm loving that United can play like we did against Everton. We were brilliant for about 30 minutes. And then Everton started playing really well. And I feel like we kind of let them back into the game for a good 45 minutes. And then all of a sudden we get to the last 10, 15 minutes and we kill them off. And I absolutely love that we've got that ruthlessness about us. Yes, we should be ending games quicker, But if we are 1-0 up against Southampton with 10 minutes to go, there's no need to panic. There's no need to get a worry on. And I don't think us fans are as much now, because we know we've got that talent there to go and win the game in the final 10, 15 minutes. So all in all, yeah, momentum needs to stay. Teams need to stay slightly the same. Of course, there'll be some changes for midweek, but it's exciting, to say the least. It's very exciting.
Right then. Who would you start then?
Me? Dyer in goal. Let's go David in goal. Let's go Valencia right back. And then I'll keep the centre-back pairing the same. So we'll go with Jones and Bay. And at left back...
I thought you meant Smalling and Lindler.
Oh, no, sorry. I mean for the last Premier League game. Let's go Jones and Bay. And then at left back, I think Luke Shaw needs more minutes before we just throw him back in. I think you've got to go with Daley Blind. For me, we look more assured when Blind is at left back. And so I would keep him there. I'm going to assume Pogba isn't available. So let's go with... Fellaini is one of those players who at the moment is playing brilliantly, and we talk about momentum and you think he is a player who could do with momentum, but then we also know he's a player who has a bit of rashness in him. He's a player who's got a bit of a mistake in him.
He wasn't involved yesterday at all.
No, which makes me think that he could play. But then again, I would love to see Herrera there, which is what really frustrates me. So I'm going to go with what Mourinho's probably going to go for, and that's Matic and Fellaini. And then I'll go with Mata, Mickey, Rashford, and... 2
Rashfords.
Lukaku,
yeah. Southampton have had it.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? Martial was mint on Wednesday.
That was Mickey, Mata, Rashford, and Lukaku.
Rom. Yeah.
So no Martial.
No.
Martial was amazing.
He was incredible. And when he comes on, he's incredible. And when he gets the opportunity, he's incredible. But would you say... Go on.
I can see how, like, you know, if you played Martial and you didn't play Rashford, you could make the same arguments as if you didn't play Martial, because they both deserve to start. It's just that we know they're both not going to start in the league. Well, so it's that toss-up. But I think much like, this is a weird way to look at it, but much like Messi and Ronaldo, you kind of keep each other going with their goals and everything like that, and looking at how each other are performing. I think on that left-hand side, Rashford and Martial can keep each other going, keep challenging each other. We already see they're great friends. I mean, Martial scored the 4th at Swansea, I think it was. He'd just come on for Rashford, and Rashford was up on his feet cheering for him. So he's obviously, they're both great friends.
Isn't it great, though, how we're having these conversations about players like sort of competing with each other for positions in the side? It's the same with Fellaini and Herrera right now. Like, to get that position next to Matic whilst Pogba's injured, that's a battle there. Even Ashley Young and Blind now. Young has put in a couple of really good performances at right back and left back. You could say he does deserve a chance to play ahead of maybe Blind, and Mourinho likes playing him. When Shaw comes back, there's another battle there. It's great that we've got battles for positions all over the park. The only place we are really... Would you say Lingard might be in for a shout as well after the way he's played the last couple of games?
Last couple of games.
Out on the right-hand side, we haven't got a right winger, have we? So that could be...
Mickey not starting.
No, exactly. But then Mata, maybe? Would you play Lingard ahead of Mata? Well, we'll find out in a minute.
Option.
Our Southampton a team... Yeah, our Southampton a team who are going to struggle more against pace or more against technical players?
Of course, we will find out about the Apple right now, because Freddie, sorry to keep you waiting, mate. What is your predicted Southampton 11 at the weekend?
Well, the big consideration for Pellegrino, and the big discussion that we've been having over on our channel, is whether to play Van Dijk from the start or introduce him like he did last weekend. He came in for the last 13 minutes or so against Palace in a combination of 3 centre-backs. But the question is for Pellegrino whether he plays as a pair with Wesley Hoot or as a 3 with Yoshida. But having said that, if he goes ahead with the 3, we did experiment with that in the Cup against Wolves, and it failed spectacularly, really, albeit with a second-string side with Bednarek and Stevens and Yoshida in that team. But as I say, we saw briefly last weekend 3 centre-backs with Van Dijk in the middle between Yoshida and Hoots. But as for the rest of the team, I think it more or less picks itself. I think we, apart from Van Dijk from last weekend, we've almost pretty much got our strongest available squad. From back to front, Forster in goal, Cedric, Van Dijk, Hoots, Bertrand, Lemina, Romeu, Tadic, Davis, Redmond and Gabbiadini is my predicted 11. But we've actually cast a vote on our Twitter page, and overwhelmingly they do vote that Van Dijk with Wesley Hoot rather than the 3 at the back. However, having said that, we are quite solid at the back, but we're struggling up front. Last week we saw Shane Long start against Palace to stretch the back line with his pace and get behind the last man. But the problem is he's actually scoring goals. And between our strikers, the three of them, Austin, Long and Gabbiadini, they've only scored one goal from open play. And as you've been saying, your defence is absolutely stingy. Only conceded 2 goals so far this season. And we could potentially struggle from open play again. Goal from Davis last weekend. But I think a single striker against United, the likes of Bailly or Jones, whoever you decide to play, you've got 4 strong centre-backs there. I think one striker will struggle against you two.
Is Gabbiadini just struggling in his second season? Because he was great against us in the EFL Cup final last season.
Yeah, well, he got to a blistering start for his career in the Saints shirt. He scored 2 against you in the Cup, and I think he scored, it was like 6 in 4 games in his first appearances. But since then, it's really just sort of fizzled out. And I think the trouble that we're having is getting the service to our front line. Gabbiadini offers a different threat to the likes of Long and Austin. Austin comes alive in the 18-yard box. But, having said that, Pellegrino also likes to have Austin come back deep and defend. Gabbiadini will run his heart all afternoon, so will Shane Long, but it's the service. Get the balls to feet to Gabbiadini. If you're playing long, get the balls in front. And if it's Austin, get it to the 18-yard box.
Who do you fear from Southampton, Ben?
Well, can I ask Freddie a question, Adam?
Yeah, sure.
Can I? Freddie, just because so far, every team we've played against, they've come and they've set up back 5, or they've set up a strong back 4 with wingers coming back and literally parking everyone behind the ball. Put in mind you're going to be home against us. Would you be frustrated if you play really defensively on the weekend?
I think if anything other than a loss would be a great result, no matter how.
So you wouldn't mind if you park the bus, so to speak, and get something out of it?
I think if you look at, let's say, for example, we take a 0-0 this time round. Last time out 0-0, it was fairly dismal, but we took it. I think a 0-0 this time round will absolutely take, because, United are flying at the moment. And what I would do if I were the manager, I'd obviously try and soak up a lot of the pressure. But having said that, Everton tried to do that quite early doors last weekend and got absolutely backfired. But having said that, we also need to keep our concentration right to the very end, because you've scored a lot of late goals recently.
Yeah, see, I find that really interesting, because I would be so frustrated if we parked, if we were, so to speak, Southampton, and we had Manchester United come in and we sort of, and I understand it's a points game. You need to get as many points on the board as possible, but I would also want my team to go out there and really have a good throw of the dice. And I think the only reason why I make the comment is because of what Mourinho said the other day, that the Premier League is becoming a defensive league. It's becoming a league where it's totally defensive. Yeah, well, as soon as he gets an attacking team and he doesn't have to play ridiculously defensive, he's criticising it. But you know what I mean? I didn't know whether fans are more in the court now of that they would rather set up in a big game and park the bus just to get a point, or still would rather go for it. Like, Adam, I don't know about you, but I'd hate it if we went to Anfield and just parked the bus.
I'll give you my opinion in 1 second, because some of the guys at home are going to see an advert right now.
Love the ads.
And some of you aren't. My opinion on that one is that ultimately, I think Southampton have been they're sitting in 9th at the moment. If they finish 9th, I think that would be a decent season for them. Or I think it'd be about a par season for them. But the thing is, they've just beaten Crystal Palace. Mm-hmm. They didn't win before that game. It's not like they're on a 6-game winning run. They're not in a position to go all out against Man United and get blown out of the park 4-5-0, which could potentially happen. So I think for Southampton, if they would play a tactical game and get a 0-0, that keeps their run going. We spoke about momentum earlier. And I know from my perspective as a Man United fan, if a Southampton team sat back or even just, kept possession a lot and kept us and ground out a 0-0, I'd be frustrated. But you have to respect that Southampton have their own business to deal with as well. Southampton have their own targets in the Premier League. And ultimately for them, they probably look at Manchester United games, even though they've got a good record against us in recent years, I think. You look at them in some of those games and you think, yeah, they could beat United. But they probably think, okay, Manchester United, we're not going to get any points of that. Anything else is a bonus. So I think all fair play to them if they manage to tactically get a result, even if it's really frustrating for us. And I think that's football. I think football is just that. Oh, Freddie's gone.
We lost him.
Yeah, he's gone.
Just as we started talking about Southampton.
He fucks up. We're still live though, so we got to carry on going.
I was going to say, mate, like they've got some great attacking options there, haven't they? Like they have, and Gabbiadini is a player who he played amazing in that cup final. He really did, and he's definitely a player we've got to be wary of. I just think, personally, for Southampton, they haven't done well at home so far this season. The 3-2 win against West Ham is all they've got at home. 3-0 against Swansea. They lost against Wolves there. They also lost against, or did they? Yeah, they lost against Watford, didn't they? At home.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
They've got all to play for, haven't they, to get a result
and play for a point. You can understand it because their form hasn't been consistent. Freddie's back with a bang.
Freddie is back.
Yeah, Freddie.
Go on, mate.
We're continuing from where we left off, and that whether Southampton playing for a draw is right or wrong or whatever, I don't see a problem with it.
You need some points at home at the end of the day, mate. I think that was the overall the overall thoughts taken away from it.
So, Freddie, Southampton, this is your time. I know we've spoken about your starting 11 briefly, but Southampton as an opposition fan, what would be your preview of this game going into it? How are you looking into this game?
Well, I think we have to win to get a result. It's been a work in progress for Pellegrino so far, and he's been using, pretty well far, and it's. I think, as I said, I think we've got the strongest.
I think we've lost Freddie there.
Team
back. I think. Is Freddie there? Freddie's gone. Freddie, you there?
Still here. Hello.
Yeah, we kind of lost you with what you were saying. I think we've got you back now. Can you repeat what you just said? Can you hear me, Freddie?
Yeah, sure. I can hear you, mate. Yeah. As for setting up the team for Saturday, I think Pellegrino will try and get the balls out wide, and that's what recently with the likes of sort of Redmond, Tadic, and Cedric and Bertrand, for which might be any top side. Interestingly, though, right-footed Redmond plays on the left, left-footed Tadic plays on the right, and defenders can read those two, see what they can cut in. And the fans have been so frustrated, especially with Redmond recently, because he runs out of ideas, runs out of tricks, and runs himself into a bit of an alley. But further in midfield, you've got to look at Romeu, Lamina, who've been absolute tanks so far, and man of the match performance last time out against Palace, and he looked comfortable on board, good with both feet, great stamina, and he was bouncing players off his shoulder all afternoon. So he certainly wants to look out for to really impose a threat alongside Romeu in the heart of midfield. So hopefully he'll be up for it again on Saturday. As for the back, alongside Van Dijk, I think we'll see, guaranteed to see another new signing, Wesley, who was excellent against Palace last time, winning headers, spraying their diagonal balls across, and you'll see that often with Van Dijk as well. And I think they will very much complement each other. With the Dutch chemistry going on there as well. And I think Van Dijk, if he plays, I think he'll be opposing both of them very tall fellas, and they'll be looking to really try have a big old battle with Lukaku. So Van Dijk as well, he'll want to impress on his return. Yeah, definitely. Van Dijk will want to try and impress on his return because he's had a bit of stick, obviously. The whole summer saga, it's been difficult to but I think without a win, and we're also without a win at home against United in 14 years. So
do you think you're going to get it this week? What's your score prediction?
Anything other than a loss would be a great result. I'll have to stay confident. I'll say with that.
I don't know what Freddie said there.
I don't know what that was.
Ben, what's your prediction? 1-1, Freddie said. Ben,
1-1.
What's your prediction?
Okay, I'm going to go 4-0. Come on.
4-0. Whoa, that's a bit.
Yes.
I'm going to
go. All 4-0s.
I'm going to go 2-0. 2-1 to United. 2-1 to United.
Make your mind up, mate. At least I'm straight in there and confident.
2-1 to United. Yeah, that's how you come early, though. Right, guys, thank you for watching Full Time Devils. Freddie, thank you for being with us, and apologies that we seem to lost some of what you said there. Ben, thank you for joining us yet again. I have been Adam McKola. This has been Full Time Devils. This has been a Southampton against Manchester United preview. Get your thoughts in the comments below. Who should start? Who do you fear most from Southampton? What's your score prediction? Subscribe to Freddie's channel. And yeah, thank you for watching. We're out there.